Mom declared, tossing my belongings into cardboard boxes. She's starting her residency at Metropolitan Hospital. A doctor needs proper rest. I stood in the doorway of what had been my bedroom for 25 years, watching them transform it into Rachel's new sanctuary. The medical textbooks were already claiming my shelves, her designer clothes hanging in my closet. Where am I supposed to go? I asked, though I already had plans they knew nothing about. You can sleep on the couch, Dad said, not even looking up from where he was installing Rachel's new desk. Or better yet, get a real job in your own place. Playing with computers in your room isn't a career. If they'd bothered to look at those computers, they might have noticed I was running a multi-million-dollar tech company from that very desk they were now throwing out. 3 years of careful planning, coding through the night, building something revolutionary, all while they bragged about Rachel's medical school achievements at every family dinner. Rachel needs to focus on her career, Mom continued, dropping my coding books into a donation box. She's going to be a surgeon. What are you doing? Making websites. I picked up my laptop bag, the only thing that mattered. Everything else was replaceable. Something like that. See? Even you can't explain it properly. Mom shook her head. Rachel has a clear path. She's going to save lives. You're just wasting time. Little did they know that my wasted time had just closed a deal that would change everything. The papers had been signed yesterday. I was now the owner of the city's most prestigious office building, the Metropolitan Tower. The same building where Dad's law firm rented 3 floors, and coincidentally, where Rachel would be working at the hospital's administrative offices. I'll be out by tonight, I said quietly. Finally showing some sense? Dad looked up. The law firm is always hiring paralegals. Not as prestigious as being a doctor, but at least it's a real job. I didn't bother responding. My phone buzzed, a message from my COO. Everything's ready at the new office. Security protocols updated. When should we announce? Give me 2 weeks, I typed back. Perfect timing for Rachel's first day at her new job. That evening, I watched from my car as they helped Rachel move in, carrying boxes of her things into what used to be my space. Mom was practically glowing with pride. My daughter, the doctor. I could hear her telling the neighbors. They didn't even notice when I drove away, didn't ask where I was going. The answer would have shocked them, to my new penthouse office at the top of Metropolitan Tower, where I oversaw an empire they couldn't begin to understand. 2 weeks passed quickly. I spent them setting up my new life, watching from my floor-to-ceiling windows as the city moved below. Every morning I saw Dad's car pull into his reserved spot on the law firm's floor. Soon Rachel would be joining the daily parade of professionals entering my building. The day before Rachel's first day, I got another text from my COO. New security protocols active. All tenants must update their passes. Your family's firms haven't responded to the notices. They will, I replied, smiling. Tomorrow. That night Mom called, the first time since they'd kicked me out. Rachel starts her new job tomorrow. At Metropolitan Tower. Isn't that amazing? Maybe you could come see her office sometime. If you get a real job, of course. Don't worry, Mom, I said, looking out at my building glowing in the night sky. I have a feeling I'll be seeing her office very soon. The next morning I watched through the security feeds as chaos unfolded in the lobby. Dad was waving his old access card at the new terminals, his face getting redder by the minute. Rachel stood beside him in her pristine white coat, looking increasingly panicked as her first day as a doctor was being delayed. What do you mean our access is denied? Dad was shouting at the security guard. I've been a tenant here for 15 years. I apologize, sir, the guard replied calmly, following the new protocols perfectly. But all access cards needed to be updated last week. The notices were sent out repeatedly. Do you know who I am? I'm James Wilson of Wilson and Partners Law. Sir. And as per the new ownership's policies, even long-term tenants need proper clearance. Mom, who had come along to document Rachel's big day for social media, stepped forward. This is ridiculous. My daughter is starting her residency today. She can't be late. I understand, ma'am, but I need authorization from Madam Owner. Then call her. Rachel demanded, checking her watch nervously. I already did, the guard said, glancing at the private elevator that only I could access. She's on her way down. I stepped out of the elevator, dressed in a tailored Chanel suit that cost more than Dad's monthly rent. The lobby went silent as I walked toward them, my heels clicking on the marble floor. Access problems? I asked quietly. Mom's phone slipped from her hands. Dad's jaw dropped. Rachel's perfectly practiced doctor's composure cracked. Sarah. Mom whispered. Actually, it's Ms. Wilson in this building, I corrected her. Or Madam Owner as the staff prefer. This is impossible, Dad stammered. You make websites. I turned to the security guard. Please pull up the ownership documents on the main screen. The massive lobby display lit up with my company's acquisition papers. There was my signature, clear as day, at the bottom of the multi-billion-dollar purchase agreement. Those websites you never bothered to look at? I said, turning back to my stunned family. They revolutionized building management systems. Every major property management company in the country uses them now, including the one I bought this building from. Rachel found her voice first. But my job, the hospital offices, are still yours, I assured her. Unlike some people, I don't believe in throwing family members out when it's inconvenient. I gave Mom a pointed look. However, there are some new terms we need to discuss. I nodded to my assistant, who appeared with 3 folders. Your new lease agreements. Dad, your firm's rent is being adjusted to market rate, no more friendly discounts. Rachel, the hospital's administrative office lease includes a clause about mandatory technology training. And Mom. I smiled. You'll need to schedule an appointment if you want to visit. No more unauthorized social media photo shoots in my lobby. You can't do this, Mom protested weakly. Actually, I can. Just like you could throw me out of my room. Interesting how property ownership works, isn't it? I turned to the security guard. Please issue them temporary passes for today. Their permanent access will be granted once they've signed the new agreements and completed the required orientations. As they stood there, clutching their temporary badges, I heard Mom mutter, I don't understand. You were nothing. Just playing with computers in your room. No, Mom. I was building an empire. You just couldn't see it because it didn't fit your definition of success. I checked my watch. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a board meeting to attend. In my building. 1 month later, I sat in my penthouse office, reviewing the latest tenant reports. Dad's law firm had quietly signed the new lease at triple their previous rent. Rachel had completed her mandatory tech training, though she'd failed twice before passing. Mom had tried to sneak into the building 4 times for social media photos before finally accepting she needed formal approval. My intercom buzzed. Ms. Wilson? Your family is here for the requested meeting. Send them in. They entered like chastened children, Dad without his usual legal bluster, Rachel missing her superior smirk, and Mom clutching her designer bag like a shield. The city stretched out behind me through floor-to-ceiling windows, a constant reminder of who owned what now. Sit, I gestured to the chairs facing my desk. We need to discuss some changes. More rent increases? Dad asked nervously. Actually, I pulled out 3 folders. These are about my old room. Mom straightened defensively. Rachel needs that space for her residency. Let me stop you right there. I opened the first folder. These are photos taken yesterday of my old room. Rachel isn't using it for rest or study. It's become her social media studio for her doctor influencer videos. Rachel flushed. How did you? I had it monitored, of course, just like I monitor every square foot of this building. I turned to the second folder. Here's something interesting: Rachel's actual working hours. According to hospital records, she spends more time taking Instagram photos in the hospital wing than attending to patients. You can't access those records. Rachel protested. I own the building, remember? Including all its security feeds and access logs. I opened the third folder. And Mom's little social media empire? The one she's been building by sneaking into my building for photo ops? It's all been running on servers I own. What do you want? Dad asked quietly. The same thing I've always wanted: respect. Recognition. A family that sees me for who I am, not who they wanted me to be. I stood up, walking to the window. You kicked me out because Rachel needed the space. Now let's talk about who really needs what. I pressed a button and the wall screen lit up with charts and graphs. Dad, your firm's billable hours are down 40% since last month. Want to know why? Your outdated systems are costing you clients. Rachel, your patient satisfaction scores are the lowest in the hospital because you're too busy filming TikToks to actually practice medicine. And Mom. I turned to her. Your social media influence relies entirely on access to this building, access you no longer have. Are you going to throw us out? Rachel whispered. No. Unlike you, I understand the difference between property and power. I handed them each a new document. These are your choices. They read in silence. Dad spoke first. You want us to convert my firm to your tech systems? Full digital transformation. Your choice is simple: evolve or watch your firm become obsolete. Rachel read her paper next. Mandatory patient care hours. Social media restrictions. Be a doctor first, influencer second. That's what the hospital space is for, isn't it? Mom's hands shook as she read hers. Building access only for legitimate business purposes. No more unauthorized photos. No more pretending you own the place. No more using my success to fuel your social media fantasy. And my room? Rachel asked. Convert it back to my home office within 48 hours, or I'll increase the hospital wing's rent by 200%. I smiled. Your choice. They sat there, papers in hand, finally understanding the new power dynamic. One more thing, I added, pressing another button. The screens showed their social media accounts, all of them. Every post where you mocked my computer hobby, every comment about me wasting my life, every family photo where I was cropped out. I've kept them all. Think carefully about your next moves. Dad signed his paper first. Then Rachel. Mom hesitated longest but eventually added her signature. Welcome to the digital age, I said, collecting the signed documents. Where real success isn't measured in square footage or social media followers, but in actual impact. As they left my office, I called out, "Oh, and Mom? Next time you want to post about your successful daughters, make sure you mention both of us. After all, I own the platforms you post on too." The door closed behind them and I turned back to my city view. Sometimes the best room isn't the one you're kicked out of,